think that I just come in there and look for knockouts, and that's not the case. I'm actually a sharp, smart fighter.
So, I'm here. Who want to fight with me?
I really don't care who's in front of me. I don't feel like no fighter can beat me.
Welcome to Bodywork. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to Bodywork Boxing. It feels so good to be back. How are y'all doing out there? I hope all is well. I figured I wanted to talk a little bit of boxing tonight. Cookie Monster, Bodywork, salute Cookie Monster. I didn't give you your shout outs the other night. I apologize. My apologies. Forgive me, please. But I figured I'd talk a little bit of boxing tonight. And I took some time off. I skipped more days last week. In the week before than I would normally skip. It's just I'm balancing some things out, doing some things, getting ready for some things, preparing for some things, and changing up some things, man. But one thing remained the same. I still love this boxing. It get a little toxic, but I'm trying to stay focused on the 80-20 rule. 80% of boxing is mostly good. It's the 20% that we focus on, which is going to be much of my conversation tonight when I get down to the meat and potatoes of things. That 20% and my issue with the 20%, because like I said, like we're getting a lot of good boxing. We're not quite into the fourth quarter, but we in the third quarter. The year's going by fast at the halfway mark. Even when I look back at my quote unquote pound for pound list, I did a pound for pound list 2 years. It was right at the end of 2023. I did a pound for pound list and hasn't much changed. That's how I'm point that pound for pound list. I'll probably post it up again. I also did the top 5 most toxic fan bases in boxing, and 2, not to my surprise, that hasn't changed either. And there's one fan base that's still, they outside popping willies out front as far as being the most toxic fan base and the hive that they carry. But we might be swapping one out, man, because there's one fan base that's quickly growing they quickly approaching this list, man. I hate to do it, but there's one fan base that just can't seem to make up their mind, and I'll be talking about that. But remember, gaslighting is at an all-time high out here, especially on YouTube. So let me get this house cleaning portion out of the way. Let me talk about a couple of things and try to shed light on what's going on in boxing, so that you can have a peace of mind when you're having some of these boxing conversations, and you won't get how I used to be. And I'm still a work in progress, right? But how I used to be, when people used to gaslight me, now I say, man, you can't gaslight me. I'm already lit. I'm not going to allow nobody to knock me off my square, because I've entertained people that was not on my level for way too long and gave them way too much attention. You know what I'm saying? Gave them way too much attention. Helped some people, found myself rubbing elbows with people that it's for way too long. It's like you get a point in time where you're going to stand on your square. You know that you standing on what's right. You know you standing on what's true. And no matter how much they try, you can't let them 50 Cent Ja Rule you. If Ja Rule would have just stayed crooning and making music, 50 would have never been able to get him up out of there. You know what I'm saying? He would have never. Now, who's talented, who could rap better and all that? I mean, of course, 50, he's went on to show that he was way more talented. But at the time, when Ja Rule was doing his thing and making his music, he had a niche market. You know, he might not have had the potential to blow as much as 50, because 50 went on to get into music and do other things, because I think 50 was more dynamic. But in the vein of actually rapping and doing that crooning thing he was doing, 50 came out and said, man, you sing the hoes and you sound like the Cookie Monster. Ironically, Cookie, he said, you sing the hoes and you sound like the Cookie Monster. You know what I'm saying? And he was able to wage a war with Ja Rule. Ja Rule career hasn't been the same ever since. There's a lot of people that try to do that to me. They'll come out and try to say, oh man, they'll be knocking holes. They'll come out and do videos that's anti to the ones that I do. It's like, listen, man, I'm in my lane. I already said I'm the Lloyd Banks of this. Why? Because I could really walk away from this and be okay with this. Okay with this? Sheesh. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could really walk away. I like talking boxing, man. I just think that a lot of us got our goggles on backwards. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you ever been swimming and you see somebody with them swim goggles on, they come up and you pull them back real tight and then you let them go. That's what need to happen to some of y'all, man, the way y'all look at the sport, man. It's like y'all need to be popped in the face one time, you know, get your goggles on straight, because some of us look at it with rose-colored goggles. Some of us like them hindsight is 20/20 color goggles. You know, like when your boxer be saying one thing, you be with it. You know what I'm saying? Then he come out 2 weeks later, he changed his mind, you be with it. And then y'all be playing games, trying to contort yourselves to make these narratives. You know, it's a lot of like hypocrisy in the sport. And I'm gonna get to the bottom of it, but I gotta say all of this because gaslighting is at an all-time high. I know my lane. My lane is not to be, I'm not gonna be the one that's gonna open up the Red Sea for everybody to follow. Right? I'm not going to be the one that's going to get into the politics where I'm going to flip-flop. This, I like Boots today. I like Brian Norman tomorrow. I like Tank today. I like Shakur tomorrow. It's like, no. I'm the one that put them all on the scales, man. And we address the situations as they come. And we look at them circumspectly. Right? We don't go out of our way to disrespect nobody. But we damn sure is not going to actually fudge the truth for nobody, man. We just gonna look at it like we're not gonna go out our way to bash nobody, but we are gonna point out the hypocrisies in what everybody's actually doing out here. That's what we do. Silence is consent is the channel, right? Which means we speak to those things. All it takes for evil to prevail is for grown men and women to remain silent. So we talk to these things. We give light to these things. We shed light on these things. We go introspective. We want to know the length, the breadth, the width, the depth, the capacity, the buoyancy, the volume. That's why we analyze it all, man. We put them all on the scales, man. Yes, we have our favorites, just like every other sport. But that's what we do over here, man. We analyze, man. We give thought. I think people lack their critical thinking skills. They need somebody to hand something to them, or yeah, man, that sounds good. Yeah. Like, what's going on right now? Like, what's going on right now surrounding Boots, surrounding Andy Cruz? I'm gonna point out a hypocrisy that's going on right now. I'm not there yet, but I'm going to get there. That's where I'm going to arrive at, and that's the subject we're going to talk about. But we're going to do a little bit of house cleaning. One of the things that's going on, right? Because if you notice, I don't even talk about this one fight, this big bad fight that's supposed to come up. Why? In part because it's too toxic. And right now, like, it's two different fan bases who happen to be in two of the most toxic, those two guys, this fight that's coming up in September. These two guys happen to be in that top 5. You know, I'm not talking about Devin. He's dead. That fan base is number 1. The fan base that I said is slowly approaching themselves to kick somebody out of the top 5 and jump into the top 5 is that beehive, that Boots hive. That they are quickly ascending to be right at that number 5 most toxic fan bases. Why? Because they can't make up their mind. Right? They're doing a lot of things that the Bud fans actually do. Where in 1 minute they're with whatever he says and they're with it. Then when he changed their mind 2 weeks later, a month later, 6 months later, they change their mind. That's one of the most insane things that can happen right now. But that's what they're doing. So we're going to address that. But when it comes down to this Bud and this Canelo fan base, right? I just given up on Canelo, right? I've given up on him because I always said that he has a vineyard, right? He's been graduated from the cherries. He has a vineyard, but it would not age like fine wine. Trust me. Why? Because we have people that are more critically thinking. We have people that's more intensive in their research, right? And we have more people that are becoming more and more outspoken. So in real time, they're not saying that a lot of things that Canelo was doing was cherry picking. But I've never seen somebody who could just sit up there and, like, when you look at the amount of competition, the level of competition that he's been picking and the people that he's allowed to get in the ring, yes, he's affording people an opportunity. Yes, he's like Santa Claus, just giving out bags, right? But when you look at the level of competition and when you look at and when you judge him, especially when somebody like Tank can get knocked for bringing a guy up from one weight class when he's actually smaller than guys that's a weight class, in some cases 2 weight classes below him, when he's actually smaller than them. But he can get crucified for bringing guys up, champions from one weight class like a Hector Garcia or Lamont Roach, right? Who are clearly bigger. Even Leo Santa Cruz, clearly bigger than him naturally, right? Not when he was out of shape and not going to the gym, but Canelo, between picking the green ones like the Berlangas, who didn't ever do nothing, never smelt the championship belt, never did nothing, the Jaime Munguia, who I don't know what kind of program, they had that man on the toilet for so long, I think he laid some eggs or something. He wasn't even taking a dump at that point. He was dropping eggs. He was on the toilet for so long. Like the same way Zurdo Ramirez, they kept these guys on the toilet over there with Golden Boy. They kept them guys on the toilet for so long, where it was like either or get off the pot. They had those tenures where they just sat there and they was. Then you look at Jamel, giving Jamel the opportunity because he wanted to get Maul when Maul was not in his mental state. So Mel jumped in and he jumps up into the weight class where he wasn't supposed to be. People like myself, I supported him because I'm a Jamel Charlo guy. You know what I'm saying? One of the most disrespected, perhaps the most disrespected, undisputed champion to ever become undisputed, in my opinion, because he cleared out the 54 division, right? Bud changed his mind after he seen what happened with him and Canelo. He changed his mind because it was supposed to be him and Mel. And don't knock me, because the great Iron Mike Tyson, the same dude who named David Benavidez, the same dude who told Ryan Garcia to fight Tank, this same dude said that the real fight that should happen, don't take my word for it, the real fight that should happen, Iron Mike Tyson said it should be Jermell Charlo and Terrence Bud Crawford at 154 pounds, especially with Bud doing what he did to Arrow and the jaw jacking that was going on between Mel and Bud. That should have been the fight, right? But this is the thing. This is what I come to. And this is why people get mad, because I always hear them say, well, you don't even hear people talking about this fight. They're not even talking about the Canelo fight. I'm a lace y'all with something. I'm going to tell you why. It's the nobody gives a mentality. Like, see, this is the difference between like people who look like myself, people who've been talking about boxing, who look like myself, who's part of this culture, who really want the longevity of the sport, right? We don't talk about certain people because we don't give a about them. Like, the reason why people don't go out of their way when they start talking about PED usage and all that, the reason why people don't go out of their way is because we really don't care about Canelo. Like, I'm gonna just say it. We don't care about Canelo. We've been stopped caring about Canelo and his moves. We've been stopped. Like we always said, until he fights somebody we want to see him fight, we don't care. We put respect on what he was able to do, how he was able to amass the resume that he got and who we shared the ring with, but we don't care about Canelo. And to be honest, man, the reason why Bud fans always get slapped around online and feel like they always get disrespected, because in large part, people don't really care about what Bud doing. They don't really care. That's the news flag. They don't really care. Both of these guys, I said a long time ago, both of these guys deserve each other. Why? Because they jerk the boxing world. They've been jerking the boxing world around on the chain for so long that people don't even care. The only reason why they care is because of the freak show and how it looks, like the optics of how this is going to look. The fact that Bud is truly daring to be great by doing this. That's the only reason why they care. Because they can say that Bud is daring to be great by going up and doing that, and Bud might be, especially when you look at the level of competition that Canelo's been facing. It's like, well, okay, if he did that to Mel, and we know what Mel brings to the table, especially at 154. I don't care what nobody say. We can take that. That was a bad night at the office. That was a money grab. That was all of the above. Already cooked Jamel right after that when he said, "Oh, I didn't get knocked out." Yes, me. I cooked one of my favorite fighters for that. Cooked him, and I moved on. But if he was able to do that to Mel, right? But the same thing that happened with him and Mel is the same thing that happened with him and Berlanga. Except for Mel took a knee. He went back and took a knee. Berlanga found himself getting back up. And they both lasted. But they tried to paint this picture like Berlanga did such a great, better job than Jamel. He used more of his feet than we're accustomed to seeing Jamel. Jamel looked like he made a business decision when he was in there. It was like, look, I'm just not going to get knocked out. I ain't going to really fight. I'm going to get this bag. I'm going to try to save face, and that's it. And I was ashamed of that performance. But Mel is still my guy. It don't have nothing to do with his legacy at 54. It don't have nothing to do with the skill set. I ran it down logically as to why I knew that Mel wasn't right. The body work wasn't right. His percentages wasn't right. His output wasn't right. There was a lot of things that he did. That style, that's not even Mel. Mel comes to try to do bodily harm. Mr. Keep running your mouth. That wasn't him. But Canelo get full credit for the dude jumping up like that. Why? Because too, they also said, oh, he's naturally, he's bigger, he's taller, he's whatever. But it's different when you haven't been fighting at that weight class. So if Mel did, if Canelo did that to Mel, he did that to Berlanga, who said that he wanted a cruiserweight. Berlanga was talking about actually, can you believe that Berlanga was actually talking about going to go get AJ? So because he did, and then before that, Canelo he carried Munguia. Carried him. It's plain as day that he carried him, because we like, hold on, man, we just gonna co-sign the fact that he just gonna carry. So we just let Canelo, we just letting him do whatever he want. Why? Because he passing out such a big bag. He's giving everybody such a big payday. He's like, he's the darling of boxing. He's the face of boxing and all this other stuff. But we have been not caring about Canelo. And the reason why, when I hate when I hear this conversation online, when people try to make points. Like, well, you don't hear nobody talking about such and such. Why? Because this culture, the culture that we care about, Black American boxing culture, that culture, the one who everybody listen to, the one who everybody steal, rape, rob, pillar from. That culture. We don't give up about certain things in boxing. We don't give up. That's why we don't talk about it. Let that be a news flash. We do not care. So it's never going to be an honest comparison. It's never going to be like that. And yes, there is a double standard. Why? Because we hold our fighters to higher standards. It's the same reason why you'll have everybody going at tank neck, right? And then all these up and coming new people who ain't proved nothing, ain't did nothing, you will put them in the same conversation when they haven't done anything. Why? It's just how we are. And the other people from these other cultures, I'm going to explain this in depth here when I get down to this Boots business, this Boots and Andy Cruz business, and make it make all the sense in the world. But other cultures, they have the platforms, they have the crowds, they have the people that's going to call in and give voice to all these ignorant points. And yes, we do have a touch of loving all things foreign. That's not just in boxing. But we have an infatuating with everything that's foreign, thinking that means that it's more valuable. And it couldn't be further from the truth. Because when you listen to any rap song, they talking about my car is foreign, is foreign. My clothes is foreign. My drink is foreign. It's made somewhere. Like, we put a value, a premium on that, and it couldn't just because it's foreign, because it's not from here. By default, we put value on those things, and it could not be further from the truth. A lot of this stuff is overblown, overpriced, overappreciated, and when you reduce it down, when you put it down in the same comparison as other things that are organically from here, there is no comparison. What are you talking about, Mike? If you listen, I'm gonna tell you, right? Like, listen, the reason why people are talking about all the things they're talking about surrounding Bud and all that is because of his association. And that's not the first association. That's not the first. Those are not the first allegations. Those are not the first of anything when it comes down to any kind of conspiracies surrounding Bud. You got the gloves, a couple of them situations. You got the Daniel Kinahan, that situation, the affiliation there before. Now you got the affiliation with Victor Conte. They just want you to brush all of that under, but people don't care to talk about it. Why? Because outside of Bud actually fighting Errol Spence when he fought him, and outside of Bud actually fighting Canelo Alvarez when he fought them, because those two were names, people didn't really give a fuck about who Bud was facing. Why? Because Bud was always the ones who moved in his own time, moved on his own accord, did things when he wanted to. He walked away from fights. He made all kind of, this fight is beneath me, this fight is past me. So now that he has a name, now everybody cares, but they're not judging this fight on the same merit that they do everybody else. Why? Because prior to Errol Spence, Bud Crawford was not moving the needle. That's a stark reality. So these lame talking points that people get online and they start talking and saying these different things about different people and all this and all that. The bottom line is, it's certain things that this culture just don't care about. We just don't care. I'm gonna move on to Gary Antoine Russell and Subriel Matias. It's looking like 140 might be. I always say 140 and 154 are the highest divisions. They're the most competitive divisions. And salute to Easily Baked. Salute Easily Baked. It's looking like 140. It could become. There could be one. There could be one that rises above the rest, right? But I'm seeing it's two different dynamics. Gary Antoine Russell and Subriel Matias, a fight that should have been happening, because at one point in time, they both were two boogeymen. But these two guys, they want smoke with everybody. But it seems as though Teofimo Lopez and Richardson Hitchens, they don't want smoke with everybody. So they're the one that's more selective. So I deem that right now, Gary Antoine Russell and Subriel Matias, they deserve each other right now. And Richardson Hitchens and Teofimo Lopez, they deserve each other right now. Because I'm not sure why Richardson. I mean, I think because he was like, theoretically, he was the last one to the party. Because you got to think, Subriel Matias, he had already had his belt. He lost his belt to Liam Paro. So Richardson Hitchens beat the man that beat the man when he beat Liam Paro, because Subriel Matias was the man. Gary Antoine Russell was supposed to get with Subriel Matias. He ran into a pitfall against Alberto Puello. So instead of running it back, he gets a El Rayo. He takes his strap, and that's how he got his seat at the throne with the WBA. Subriel Matias no longer with the IBF. That's Richardson Hitchens, because he beat the man in Liam Paro that beat Subriel Matias. So he got the IBF. Teofimo Lopez, he been had the WBO. That's what he got from Josh Taylor. Like, he's the most selective. He's two-time lineal. His father would not allow you to forget that. But from what I'm seeing is like, people got a little sick and tired of T.O. because of his antics and his ways. I think he's in a cooling off stage. But I would have loved to see him and Richardson Hitchens, fight, because I still don't like how Gary Antoine talking about T.O., even though he say, man, yeah, because of their, how friendly they were when they was in the Olympics, in the Olympic trials and all that, and, how their families was, and, this and this and that. I still kind of don't like that energy, but I respect it. So I kind of understand why, if it came down to it, why Gary Antoine would want that to be the last piece on the table. But the selfish boxing fan in me say, listen, Gary, I got what you said in my intro for a reason. My goal is to have all of the titles, all of the belts. You know what I'm saying? That's what your goal is. So it don't really matter what order they go, Gary. If y'all gonna make T.O. an offer, he can't refuse and he'll finally get down. But I don't think T.O. really want to do that. That's why I say that Subriel Matias and Gary Antoine, it's inevitable. I almost did a video on that tonight and how that's inevitable. Why? Because they got the energy, man. They got, like, when it comes down to it, I like Richardson Hitchens. That's my guy. I like Richardson Hitchens, man. I put a lot of respect on his name, and I support him, and I hold him down in ways that a lot of other channels won't. A lot of other people overlook him, because I know he has a skill set. He has a skill set, and I know that when they say the last shall be first and the first shall be last, he embodies that. So he just now getting to the table, and I understand, especially with the whole thing with Matchroom. Man, I don't even know how they did him after Turkey came on and said what he said. I don't even know how they doing him and what, because it was supposed to be him and T.O. in Alcatraz. That's what was said. That's what we knew, So I'm not sure if Turkey reneged on that, but I don't know where Richardson Hitchens. That's why I'm kind of sparing Richardson Hitchens, because part of this is not his fault. He did what he was supposed to do. T.O. was at the fight. He called him out. T.O. was acting like he was all nonchalant about whether or not he wanted to do it. I'm like, well, what are you here for? What was you at the fight for? If you wasn't going to entertain that, then he asked the crowd, y'all want to see Teofimo in Africa? Half-heartedly. And then Richardson Hitchens said F the Haney. Which Devin and them, they should have took that. They should have took that fight. But now Devin and them, don't get me started on the ice age. Devin chasing that nut, he get ready to get iced. I'm not going to even get started on that. That's not part of the housekeeping. So what I'm thinking right now is that Gary Antoine Russell and Subriel Matias, they're going to get it on. Hopefully they're going to get it on. And the only reason why Turkey is inserting this Dalton Smith is because he's trying to disrupt. Like, if you look at it, the key pieces in any division, he grabs them pieces. He fondles those pieces. He manipulates those pieces to disrupt that division. I don't know, it's clear as day. I don't know how y'all don't see it, but that's what he does. That's why I say, man, are these guys, when I talk about Eddie and Sugar Daddy Sheik, are they making American boxing great again? No, they aren't. Yeah, they're putting on some what we call spectacles. Everybody's going to watch a spectacle. Don't get me going back to the bread and circuses. And they give us bread and circuses to keep us unfocused, kids. Go look up bread and circuses. They will give us bread and circuses to keep us distracted, so we wouldn't be out here doing things that will push the movement forward, something of productivity. That's why you got the Super Bowl, all this entertainment stuff. That's why sometimes, if it's not of importance, if it's not something that I think, man, is really imperative, it would really like shift everybody's mind. I don't even want to talk about boxing. Why? Because I know it's just a distraction. We could be doing more productive things. That's why I don't want to waste no time sitting around going back and forth with no dummies, when the truth is right there in front of you. Keyshawn came out and did an interview. Keyshawn came out and did an interview with Errol Hawani. Confirmed everything I said in my last video. Everything that I said in my last video. Somebody tried to come behind me and do another video being an anti to what I said, and Keyshawn came out and proved everything that I said in my last video. Everything. He said he had to look back at himself, and he said that what he saw, he said he was becoming something that he wouldn't even want his son to have to be able to see. So he's going to take some time out, get himself together, and he's going to come back. So all these people that was out here bending over, eating all these footlongs and all that, y'all look and sound dumb right now. Because the man himself basically said he had to get himself together. And he wasn't doing right. He said there was a lot of things off camera he wasn't doing right, how he was acting. And then he also said, because the title of my video, in the title, I said, Keyshawn's career flashed before his very eyes. And then in the description, I said, Virginia's next rising boxing star got the wake-up call that he needed. What did Keyshawn say? He was like, listen, I'm not saying that I wanted it to happen. He said, but I'm kind of glad that it did. Because it made him wake up. That's why I be trying to tell you. Some of us don't be getting out here just playing around online, man. Like, if y'all not going to be productive in the conversation, then why do we be here talking boxing? If we're not going to talk about it logical. If we're not going to be honest and keep it a buck, but some people be so busy bending over, thinking that they're going to be, you know, I don't know what they think. They're going to be able to sleep on their favorite boxer's bunk bed. They're going to get some tickets. They're going to get an autograph. I don't know what they think they're going to get. But like I said before, it's becoming like idolatry, like straight up. Like where we just idolize these guys so much and we just anything. They could be like, say, and we going to be like, gargle. We going to be like, oh. Like, no, man, no. Close your mouth, man. Sit down. Just enjoy the sport, man. But I'm glad Keyshawn was able to do it, man. So maybe people can actually appreciate in real time the things that I be saying about these boxers, man, when you just be keeping it a buck. And I'm glad he did that. Why? Because Keyshawn will galvanize his fans again. He will have people behind him that'll be like, listen, man, okay, at least the dude can admit that he was wrong. At least the dude can show some remorse. At least the dude can show some respect. At least the dude can sit down and be real. Not be so above and beyond himself so that he can take the steps that are needed to get back in the ring and he can be his full potential. And it was only going to be in vain. Like he said it was happening so fast and things were getting so big and it was getting so out of control. He himself said he had the big head. Couldn't tell none of his sauces, eating footlong, eating beanie weenie, having quarter pounder slobbing, no buns, plate on the plate at the cookout, having fans, none of that. Keyshawn just came out and made y'all all look dumb as hell. Dumb as hell. Because y'all can't be real. So I'm glad he was able to do that. So now, people like myself, who are naturally organic Keyshawn fans, I just wasn't with none of that messy stuff. It's like, look, man, you're going to get out of control and then you're going to do something and you're going to crash out. I gave the Felix Verdejo thing, but we just seen T.O. crash out because why? His behavior didn't get checked when it was supposed to get checked. When everybody said, oh, no, this is sport and you so sensitive. What happened with T.O.? He just kept going. Why? Because he sat in an offense and he got attention from it. So then he sat in a bigger offense and he got attention from it. So then he sat in a bigger offense and he got attention from it. Keyshawn was on that same path. And then he said, ironically, the one who reached out to him and had a good message through the public was T.O. How ironic. Things come full circle. And he said he needed that. So hopefully Keyshawn can heal. He can come in with his goggles on right. He still got the talent. He's still young. Maybe he did need some rest because he said it's been nonstop since the Olympics. He been on go. Fight after fight after fight. Then he got the eliminator. Then he got the title shot. Then it was going back home and he was trying to run it up, getting that bag. And he also said that he made investments. He got a truck on the road that pays him. So he all right. You know what I'm saying? He just got to pay his little bills or whatever. But I'm glad and I'm happy for the young man. Why? Because that's the maturation of Keyshawn Davis. And that's a guy that people can get behind, not the ego-driven, you know what I'm saying? Not to saying that boxers shouldn't have an ego, because they should. They got to. But now with a level head, you know what I'm saying, actually seeing that, actually having your career flash before your eyes, and then also, man, you don't want to be going through the same thing that Tank going through, man. And I think Tank had been got it together. It's just been these lingering things that's just been coming around, biting him in his tail. That one last thing that he did, it actually caused him to have to go sit down. But that incident had happened like 2 years before he actually had to go sit down. So if you don't catch it as a fan, your favorite fighter gonna be missing, or he's gonna be in litigation, and when he get in the ring, his mind ain't gonna be there. So Keyshawn was saying that the state of Virginia got to do something, and he don't know, he don't want to speak it, which I could appreciate him not wanting to give voice to anything and not assume anything, right? But just let it run its course. Don't make any statements about it, and put out positive vibes that, they want to spare him, and he'll actually learn, because there was a lot of people watching. There was a lot of eyeballs. There was a lot of money in there. Time, effort, energy, all of that stuff, man. And in that situation, the last became first and the first became last. Why? Because everybody was taking up on Abdullah because of Keyshawn, and look what wound up happening. Abdullah wound up being first. Keyshawn wound up being last. The irony of life. So I'm glad Keyshawn was able to actually come out and give voice to that. I mean, the fact he chose Ariel Helwani, you know what I'm saying? I mean, kudos for the interview, man. Go check it out if you haven't seen that interview. But everything I said the other night was the same. Everything I was saying in real time as the crash out was happening was confirmed twice on the live and in the interview. You know what I'm saying? Just I'm done trying to prove myself to clowns. You know what I'm saying? Clowns. Let's get down to the meat and potatoes, y'all. Let's get down to the meat and potatoes. What do you mean by these guys being stepbrothers? Well, in part, one of the things is this. One of the things is this, right? They share the same camp. Right? And when I look at it, Andy Cruz, the Olympian, he was the one who actually beat Keyshawn in the Olympics. Keyshawn got the silver. He was able to transition, take himself over into the dungeon with Bozy and them. Take on Bozy as a coach after having that Cuban boxer. Great feet, timing. You know what I'm saying? Some speed. Not known for his power. He was able to take that style, go over to the dungeon. Well, that's not the style of fighting that they actually have. It's not the style that they use. That's not really the style. They punching over there. They from the looks of things, they punching over there in the dungeon. So to try to formulate or develop a more pro style, he goes over to the dungeon. He goes over to the uncomfortable. Having that Olympic background shows that, okay, any stage, any time, any place, that style, the big bright lights, that's what Andy is doing. Outside of the comfort zone. On the rise. Somehow they both get with Eddie. Boots. He's Philly's, he was touted as Philly's next great phenom. I used to call him the young phenom from Philly. Jaron Boots Ennis. And he was looking like the second coming of Roy Jones. Now, as time passed by, yes, he took a hit for living in the shadows behind Terrence Bud Crawford and Errol Spence. He wasn't the only one, because Demontis Giannis, Virgil Ortiz, Blair Flair Cobbs, at one point in time, Speedy Rashidi. There's a lot of welterweights that was waiting in the wings trying to show. Keith Thurman, before he moved up, before he fully, semi-retired for the time when he took a step out. A lot of people living in the shadows of that welterweight division, just waiting to see when the smoke clear who was going to be who. Boots, by default, pretty much had inherited the division. Now, he still has some heavy lifting to do, and he said he wanted undisputed. Well, he got halfway there. He was able to get the IBF strap, which is one of the more by requirement. It's one of the ones that I give more credence or more I give it more juice. A lot of people put a lot of juice on that WBC because it's the green belt, it's the color. I put a lot of juice on that IBF because of the rehydration. Because it's very hard to look your best, and like you got to be fighting in your weight class or it's not going to work for you. You will get exposed, you will get pushed to the limit. Look at Richardson Hitchens when he went against Gustavo Lemos at 140 versus when Keyshawn Davis went up against Gustavo Lemos at 135. And that was Richardson Hitchens' first time really trying to fight at 140 under the IBF for that eliminator. He got pushed to the limit so much that Keyshawn get full credit for what he did to Gustavo Lemos, and people take up on Richardson Hitchens because he, you know, he got pushed to the limit against Gustavo Lemos. I respect the 140 Gustavo Lemos versus Richardson Hitchens fight way more than the other one. Why? Because it just is what it is. It was that requirement, that rehydration. Boots was holding that IBF down. He ultimately went ahead and got them out to Stan Giannis, another guy who I was really high on, man. And I was kind of disappointed that he sat in the corner and he retired on the stool. I expected more from him, you know, but hey, they the ones that get hit in the head and the face, not me. But he got halfway there. They were acting like they wanted to go the full way there. We know Mario Barrios was tied up at the time. And they were actually doing the smear campaign on the Norman. And just like I say, us as fans, there's certain things we don't care about. You got to understand, when a camp gets rubbed the wrong way by another camp, or they get some crazy stuff happening, like what happened between the Team Norman and Team Ennis. Like when the things that was happening between them two camps happened, you can't get mad at the Normans for always speaking their truth on it when they the ones that got smeared. They the ones that had to endure all of the slander that the Ennises and them was doing, like during that time. Like you can't get mad if every time they put a mic in their face and that subject come up that senior goes in. You can't be mad. You can't be mad. That's just like if Conwell, if he were the type to every time they put a mic in his face, he just don't do that many interviews. But every time they put a mic in his face, if he were to speak about how felonious the offer that Conwell got was at that point in time. Because you can't have it both ways. At that point in time, he was still saying he wanted undisputed. So why was Conwell getting an offer? And why was Brian and how could Brian Norman be getting an offer? Knowing that you had to take a fight at that weight class, like at 47. So at that point in time, people still were thinking that Boots wanted to get undisputed. And everything was saying that he would. So when it came out right before Brian Norman went over there and had that shot of gin, when that happened, people were like actually surprised when the announcement was made that Boots was going up to 54. Well, I don't think that only Boots, I don't think the fans were the only ones surprised. I would have to say that maybe Virgil Ortiz or anybody else at 54 were surprised. Unless they were talking behind the scenes, something that we will never know. We won't know unless you got inside information. Now the camps know, but they play dirty politics where they're going to get out online and they're going to keep certain things close to the vest. They're not going to say nothing. They're going to slander one way and then they're going to cry when people come out and tell their own truth. And that's what I'll be hearing from a lot of the Boots only fans. A whole lot of crying. And I don't understand why. Because Boots is already like he's already on the ramp, like he's already ready for takeoff, like he's on the landing strip. Let's be honest, the dude already took off. Like when he did that, when he got the unified, because I'm gonna tell y'all like this, a lot of people still knock Tank just because he don't have that one accolade of ever saying that he been unified. Boots eliminated that by getting unified, so that's one thing nobody can ever knock him for, no matter what he do. He unified. That means them legs took off. So when people play all them accolade games or whatever, Boots was already off the runway. He was already coming up off of the airplane. The wheels weren't touching no more. He was in the air. So you decide you want to stay over there with Matchroom Airlines. Okay, that's your choice. You can't have it both ways. If you chose to stay over there with Matchroom Airlines, it's just like if they don't get, if they keep finagling and Andy Cruz don't, you know, if they don't allow Andy Cruz to get his opportunity. Now I know Andy Cruz, he's only like 6 fights in, and he is being fast tracked or whatever. Way different skill set. When you gold medal in the Olympics, the way he keep, like, so if Andy Cruz would have went over there to Top Rank, think about it. Let's think about this. If Keyshawn would have went to Matchroom, and Andy Cruz would have went to Top Rank, what y'all think would be happening right now? What y'all think will be happening right now? Especially when now people can so liberally say, oh, Top Rank diet. Oh, man, you know that's the Top Rank way. But doing all of the events, when it was somebody over at the PBC and somebody over at Top Rank, the narrative was they was ducking. Tim Bradley, the narrative was that Tank, he don't fight nobody, he don't do nothing. The minute Top Rank is, you know, got to make a move and got to go somewhere else, now Tim Bradley come out and give Tank all the credit in the world and say he's a Hall of Famer and all this. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. They're going to start spilling all kind of truth like they always do. I was doing it in real time, like when I was saying, hold on, man, with this Berlanga guy, y'all getting a little bit too outrageous. The same dude from Silver Spring, from Laurel Maryland, DeMar Nicholson, he was the first one to take Berlanga the distance after going on that, 20 knock, I think he had 19 or 20 first round knockouts and all that. It was the dude from Laurel, where I graduated from high school. Dude from Laurel, DeMar Nicholson, was the first one to take him the distance. So in one breath, they'll say it ain't no Top Rank diet. Then in the next breath, they'll say, oh, nah, man, he's like that. You know, there was a such thing as a Top Rank diet. There was. But see, they use that argument when it coming down to Abdullah Mason, even though he's not doing the prototypical Top Rank diet. He's not. They've been stepping him up and stepping him up and stepping him up. If you had to say, I would actually say Shushu might have been more on the Top Rank diet, if you want to be honest. And I like Shushu, but it just is what it is. Jahad Tucker, he wasn't on no Top Rank diet. He wasn't on no Top Rank diet. Xander Zayas was, but he just bust his cherry. And he proved, he definitely made me eat crow. I was impressed by Xander Zayas. I'm not gonna lie. I was impressed by what he did to Chino. But then again, I looked at Chino and how he fought. I'm like, dang, he caught lightning in the bottle in that fight against Conwell. But that's neither here nor there. There's a such thing as a Top Rank diet. So I'm asking y'all, 6 weeks, 6 fights in, he's over there with Matchroom. He's being heavily avoided. And this is where I'm gonna tell, this is the oxymoron. This is the point. This is the crux of what I'm saying. Rumor has it, y'all. Rumor has it. Let me take this down for a second. The rumor has it that Raymond Danger Morataya turned down $2 million to defend that strap that he got against Andy Cruz. Listen to me. Rumor has it, Caesar, Caesar came out and broke this and said this, and he broke it down, and Ness was trying to give it all kind of, he was trying to give it all kind of pushback and this and that, because the whole time Ness had been in favor of Keyshawn over Andy Cruz, and I'm like, you be flip-flopping, flip-floppery, flippity flop like a pancake. I don't even know how he know which way is up, because he be flip flopping, man. Don't get me started. But Caesar came out, broke the news, was basically saying that Raymond Danger Morataya turns down $2 million to defend his strap against Andy Cruz, the guy with 6 fights. And they say no. So then Caesar say, well, when they said no, they came back with an offer, but guess what? The offer was less. It was a $1.5 million, right? Nobody is online cooking Raymond Danger Morataya. Nobody is online cooking Robert Garcia in his camp. Why? Because there is a double standard. There's a double standard. Well, what do you mean, Mike? If you listen, I'm going to tell you, right? Like right now, they are cooking. Right now, they're trying to cook Speedy Rashidi Ellis. They're trying to cook Speedy Rashidi Ellis for not taking $500K to move up to 154 and fight Jaron Boots Ennis. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? Do you understand? Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Let me say it again. Raymond Danger Morataya, who actually fought, who was that? Antonio Moran, the one who Devin Haney knocked out a couple years ago. I think that was his last knockout, to be honest. Like 3 years ago, when he got knocked out of the year or whatever, that wild ass joint that he threw from one turnbuckle to the middle of the road, like that one crazy dude. Yeah, that dude. Like, yeah. Raymond Danger Morataya fought him. Everybody was waiting for Lomachenko to come back off of retirement or come back and decide what he was going to do. Loma was like, that's it for me. I'm out of here. So Raymond Danger Morataya get that belt. Guess what? He was on a top rank diet. He was moved. I'm not going to say he ain't fight nobody, but he was spelling some people. Like he fought some of the same people. He fought some of the same people that Shakur fought. He fought, it was a mixture of some other people that fought. So I'm not saying that Raymond wasn't dangerous, because Raymond got a skill set. But listen to what I'm trying to tell you. He got his belt in an unconventional way. He got his belt in an unconventional way because Lomachenko walked away. He left Tank at the altar because he was trying to get a deal. He said, "Oh no, I want to have family time." And then he up and waited and sat on the toilet and didn't make a move, and then he up and walked away. And Morataya get his belt. Well, they had been pushing and moving Andy Cruz, and he had been moving up the ranks, and he was the same way that Abdullah Mason. This guy, the same way, the potential prototype, this guy, the same way Abdullah Mason is getting ready to get it on with Sam Noakes. Andy Cruz was supposed to get it on with Raymond Danger Morataya. Only Raymond Danger Morataya allegedly, reportedly, him and his camp turned down $2 million for Andy Cruz. Then they come back and say, all right, you don't want the $2 million, how about 1.5? Ain't nobody, they not doing a show about that. They're not doing a show about Raymond Danger Morataya and Robert Garcia and them turning that down. Oh no. They doing the show hanging on the Boots pubic hairs, talking about how Speedy Rashidi need to be ashamed of himself for not accepting 500. Now I don't know if y'all went to 6th grade. Like a lot of these cats from Philly went to 6th grade like 6 and 7 times, 3 and 4 times. I don't know, but 2 million. Raise your hand. Listen, raise your hand. Raise your hand. Talk to me now. Raise your hand if which line are you standing in? $2 million to fight Andy Cruz or 500 grand to fight Jaron Boots Ennis? But look at how the media, that's why I be trying to tell you, man, the TBV, that's the nastiest channel, one of them online. That's like one of the nastiest channels online. Why? Because they play y'all, man. They got that, they went to the Bob Arum science of fandemonium, where Bob Arum said boxing fans are like rocks. You could just throw them wherever you want and they'll just stay there. That's what they do. It's called manipulation, because they will manipulate you and have you up here whining and crying for Boots, acting like, you know what I'm saying? He the one said he wanted 2 tune-ups. That's why I said, listen, cry me a river when we can't have it both ways. And this is not hating. This is not this is just being a logical, objective boxing fan, because in hindsight, I'm tired of y'all always being right in hindsight, but in real time, y'all don't want to say what it is. Why y'all don't want to say what it is in real time? In real time, you had a choice. So it wasn't like it wasn't an ultimatum where you got to go over to the PBC and you got to do that. So let's just say it was no offer or no, you didn't have to go over to the PBC, even though it would have made a lot of sense. Why? Because of who they affiliated with. Whether it's a questionable Tim Zoo at this point, you still had Jamel Charlo, you got Keith Thurman, you got Jesus Ramos, you got Sebastian Fundora. Do I need to keep going? Those are just options. So if you say, hey, I want to take a gander over there, those are just options on the table. But we don't put no pressure on Eddie. Notice how we don't put no pressure on Eddie, because there was never no mention, never no mention of Boots and Conor Ben. Never no mention of it. But Conor Ben can go up to 160 and fight Eubanks. But it's a cardinal sin to ever ask Conor Ben to get it on with Boots. That's a head scratcher. But it's never no pressure on Eddie. But guess what? If we eliminate PBC offer out of the deal, right, and we say, oh no, because people automatically say, oh well, you just a PBC, what they be calling you? A PBC gangbang. You just gangbang. Okay, so let's take PBC off, right? So let me take my PBC gangbanging hat off, right? The imaginary PBC gangbanging hat, right? Because it's always crazy how, truthfully speaking, logically speaking, you get affiliated with being a gang banger with anything when it comes to the PBC. But anything that comes with Matchroom or Turkey, they don't say nothing about no gang banging. I already went over that. Like, listen to the terminology. So let's just say I take off my imaginary PBC gang banging hat, right? And I just listen to what all y'all be saying. Listen to Eddie. Listen to Turk. Turk said, hey, my friend, you want big fight, my friend? He's, no, man, I want tune-ups. Y'all remember Elroy Presley from Martin? Don't you know no good? Don't you know no good? Don't y'all know no good? He said, man, it's just one thing that's been going. He was the mechanic. It's just one thing, that's one song that's been going on my mind, man. Don't you know no good? When it comes to Boots, y'all know no good. He went over there to Elroy Presley and was like, man, I want 2 tune-ups. Sheik was like, nah, my friend. Hey, no. If you want tune-ups, go over there with Eddie, my friend. You want big fight? Okay, so I'm like, all right. Hey, Turkey talking that. When y'all want us to listen to him and we listen to him and he come out and say that, they say, oh man, y'all only saying that because Turk said. It's like, no, make up your mind. Y'all want to have it both ways all the time. We can't listen to Al because Al don't talk. We refuse to bend the knee or kiss the nipple ring of Turkey Al Sheikh. We just not doing it. But when we listen to him, when we lend him our ear, and he come out and he tell Boots, hey, you want a big fight? Holler at me. And Boots say, nah, I want to get acclimated. I want to adjust to it. Give me 2 tune-ups. He said, oh, my friend, you call me back when you win big fights. Go over there with Eddie if you want tune-ups. So, the deals that are popping back out are in line with a name that they're getting ready to start calling Jaron. They about to start calling him Jaron Lowball Ennis. They about to start calling him Jaron Lowball Ennis. Because when we listen to, if we're entertaining, let's just say the hypothetical offer that Conwell had, when they sat down with Conwell, he scratched his head and said, man, I was surprised that they thought that that's what I was worth. Regardless if they had a bad night at the office. But listen to what I'm saying. Look at what I'm saying and listen to what I'm saying. You notice the common denominator? You notice the common denominator with Conwell? You notice the common denominator with Brian Norman Jr.? You notice the common denominator with Speedy Rashidi Ellis? I'm not talking about the fact that they got low ball offers. What's the common denominator between Speedy Rashidi Ellis, Brian Norman, and Charles Conwell? Besides the fact that they got low ball offers. What's the common denominator? They look like me. If they had to fill out an application for something and it said black or African American, they would have to check that box. If you said that, ding 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 ding, you might be right. But somebody like Ranger Danger, Mauritania, can turn down $2 million to fight Andy Cruz. And there's no news. This is why I be having to refrain from coming online, because there be stuff that's going on and all we hear is people that want to get out here and whine. I don't know why they talk about Boots like that. It's like, well, you bring something to the conversation and you tell us how we should be looking at this. Because he made the choice to sign with Eddie. Just like Shakur. Just like Shakur, when Shakur was like, nah, he wanted a 2-fight deal with, he didn't want to go do that deal with Tank when they was talking or whatever. He wanted a 2-fight deal. And then told Eddie, don't even negotiate. And they were happy to get a Joe Cordina. And then he pulls out of the Joe Cordina fight. But the OnlyFans, they were happy about that. But it ain't no pressure. Why? Because listen, man, I ain't gonna lie. I wish he wouldn't have go ahead and relinquished the belt or did whatever paperwork he was doing to relinquish his belt so that Rolly couldn't get it. You know why? Because I still believed in my heart of hearts, if there was ever any kind of conversation this year about Jaron Boots Ennis and Brian Norman getting it on for Fahrenheit 147 for any time this year, we're only in August. We're only in August. Salute to L Dub. Salute AC. Salute. But we're only in August. Let me. We're only in August. So listen to me. I'm gonna say this one more time, man. We do not we have a lot of love for Boots. So don't miss the illustration with the phonetic demonstration. What I'm saying is, my friend, they always do this bullcrap where it's okay for you to take a all over Brian Norman when he got his low ball offers and he said he wanted more money, but Stan Giannis got more money. Conwell got low ball and he was at 54 when Boots was saying he was at 47, wasn't undisputed. Now he at 54 and Speedy Rashidi's on deck and they lowballing him too. But Raymond Danger Mauritania can turn down $2 million for Andy Cruz and there's no news. What up, AC?
Was good, Brody. Was good. Was good, man. Yeah, I'm catching kind of the tail end, but it's right on par with a lot of the things I was thinking. Like, why nobody talked about the Moore Tyler duck? Like, that's a duck and a half. I mean, people are out here saying Andy Cruz hasn't done anything. When it came down to mention him fighting Shakur or Keyshawn. Well, what has he done? He ain't done nothing. He still can't get past his Olympic style of boxing. Just to tie two things together, then let's bring in what they saying about or what dudes were saying about the low ball offer to Charles Conwell or Rashidi. Right. It's like you can't say the same thing that what have they done? Oh, but Charles Conwell made X. What the fuck does that matter? What he made in his last fight, or the fight before he fought Garcia? The point is, he's a tough out. It makes for a great fight. This is a fight where to a good degree, you can't just automatically assume Boots is going to win, because he's looking for the super light touch to justify himself, or whether or not he's going to stay up there at 54. So at the end of the day, when you look at what's going on in boxing, leading back to what me and you was talking about with the state of boxing, you got Moore Tyler that just came off the crazy duck. And everybody was talking about Moore Tyler like a champ when he had called out Shakur after he got that slick knockout. But now there's Andy Cruz there, and you ducked that for $2 million?
$2 million, bro.
$2 million, my guy, to fight at Andy Cruz. Andy Cruz, $2 million.
More than likely, you more than if we had to lean somewhere, unless he took another step, you're not getting knocked out. You might get your ears boxed off, but you're not getting knocked out, and you got a puncher's chance.
Yes, sir.
So I'm sitting here, AC, and I'm like, and it irks my nerves, because it's just like that statistic I was giving the last time we was live, and I said, man, there's certain things. It's just like when they talk about Kobe, when I was giving the Bud, and I was talking about Kobe and how they look at things, and when you point out certain facts, it'll seem like you hating. I hate this, that when it comes around with Boots, we act so naive just in the space of wanting to be supportive. We can be supportive but still speak about the truth and not be misled, like, because it's channels out here that will put their two fingers and lead you by the nose. I try not to do that. I try to say, hey, listen, man, stand up straight. That's, first of all, that's how you beat the nose clench. You got to stand up straight. You know what I'm saying? Stand up straight first. And then let's look at this, because listen, they out here, they started it earlier. They had people on there honestly saying, Speedy Rashidi, he need to be ashamed of himself. How much he ever, but they are not sitting there talking about, like, hold on. You want the man to take $500,000 to get in there with the young Philly from Phenom, and Ranger Danger Moritalia just turned down $2 million for Andy Cruz? Are you kidding me?
But y'all want to talk about Brian Norman ducking. Okay.
But yeah, and then y'all want to resort back to Brian, and y'all so pissed off because every time Senior get a mic in his face, he flambés Boots. It's like he got more than enough material, and y'all, they had the benefit of getting slandered when y'all was doing some crazy stuff, like trying to make this dude, like 3 weeks before he about to fight Jen, agree to a deal and get slandered while they over there in training camp. And so y'all mad now that in hindsight he's saying, yeah, whatever, like he deserved the right to, in my opinion.
Yeah. And it's funny because these channels out here say, yeah, subscribe to my channel and I'm going to send you a free nose ring, a little hoop. It's a little hoop, gold ring, nose ring. Get your African on. You feel what I'm saying? Then once you subscribe to the channel, now you got your little nose ring in. Then they just start, hold on. Let me latch this jump off to you. And now every time you think you could go away, they tug back at it, pull you right back in line. So for me, it's like, bro, don't sign up for the nose rings. You feel what I'm saying? Don't sign up for the booger jewelry. It ain't cool. So start using your own your own brain.
Because
because right now I'm so far, and I'm 50-50 on boxing right now because I'm so happy of the fights that I did get, but I'm not happy with all the BS that's going on in boxing and all of these weird, announcements of fights. It's like, okay, let me know about this fight when, a couple of weeks before the first press conference. You know what I'm saying? Don't just be throwing all of these names out and these weird, things that's going on out here. Oh, this guy's trying to fight this guy, and this guy's trying to fight that guy, and all of this other stuff. But it's like, are you looking for legacy, or is now everybody trying to get a payday?
Definitely
and just fight somebody with a half decent name.
Definitely a payday. Definitely trying to. They'd rather string along like 3 or 4 paydays. It's like Jose Ramirez. Because Jose Ramirez, he turned down more options at a championship than anybody I know of recent history, because he could sell out there in California. Now that's California, but it's looking like it's the same thing with Boots, where it's like, see, this the thing, AC. Let me try to pin this down for you real quick. Let me ask you a couple questions, right?
All right.
David Avanesian, when Boots fought him, was David Avanesian undefeated?
No.
Had he been knocked out before prior to facing Boots?
Exactly, before facing Boots, he was knocked out and knocked out.
So let me get this correct. Was it one fight before he fought Boots that he got knocked out?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so with Charles Conwell, when Conwell in his last fight, was he victorious?
No.
Was he knocked out?
Not at all.
Okay, so was he fighting at 100? What was he fighting at 154?
All day.
Okay.
It was a tough fight for him. It was an odd guy. You feel what I'm saying? If you never face an odd guy, shit happens.
Okay. So if I was a logical fan and I said, okay, Boots, if you fought David Avanesian, one fight removed from being knocked out by Terrence Bud Crawford, and that was okay, but I don't want to see no Conwell because he had a rough night at the office against Chino, didn't get knocked out. Would I be rational in saying, and he's a true 154 pounder, he actually sent one up before. The upper room. He actually sent somebody to the upper room before.
Mm-hmm.
Like, would I be a rational fan if I said I didn't want to see that?
Would you be a rational fan if you didn't want to see the Charles Conwell fight?
Yeah, if I said, because this is what's going on online.
Bro, you gonna be crazy. I'm gonna just look at you and tell you crazy like I was doing with dudes last night. All of a sudden, since Charles Conwell fought an extremely unorthodox dude, and I believe this was another situation to whereas he might not have had a full training camp or whatever, or may not been able to do what he normally does, but I'm not making any excuses for him, but he fought a very unorthodox guy. We saw the same unorthodox guy become more unorthodox when he fought Xander Zayas, right? Mm-hmm. So I hear people, and dudes was telling me this last night, that Charles Conwell is somehow trash.
Trash. I know. You see that? You see what I'm saying? So I'm like, and then okay, so they ruling that. I'm like, why not? I'm like, if you fought, and see, this is why this is another one of them things to why I say y'all gonna make me seem like I'm hating on somebody when I start pointing out facts. Because if you can fight David Avanesian after getting sparked, flatline by Terrence, if you can fight him the very next fight, if you can fight him the very next fight, why wouldn't Conwell, especially if you want to get your feet wet, you want to see where you at? Because listen, I ain't no genius, but if you saying you one of the big boys and you going up to 54, you say F Norman and them, I'm moving up, you had your chance, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. You want to get your feet wet, and there's a history where the guy that Xander Zayas just fought to get a belt actually beat a guy that they're trying to line you up with, and you say no, or as a fan, we say no, we don't want to see that, we kind of look and sound dumb as hell.
Oh, all day. You just look at him like, are you a boxing fan? Are you do you really like the sport? Do you really like to sit down and just watch the event and make an event out of watching the event? Is that the type of thing you are, or you just, have a bunch of people over, you in the kitchen talking shit, acting like you drinks, and if something happened, you look over and be like, what happened? What just happened? Oh, all right. You feel what I'm saying?
Hey, but see, I'm an Onyx fan, but wait, it gets worse. wait, it gets worse. Listen,
there's more.
Listen, the Josh Kelly, Machine Gun Kelly, to my knowledge, Alvanesian sparked Machine Gun Kelly.
Yep.
And you was barking up that tree. So once again, so you was gonna bark up that tree, but then this guy say that you lowballing him too.
Yeah, and then there was the Greek dude. That's the only guy that's really deserves the 250,000. Some Greek dude that I ain't never even heard of. Like what Greek dude? What guy from Greece? That's coming off a loss too, a bad knockout, I think at that. And I'm like, what's going on?
So then look, a guy named Speedy Rashidi, who, if you recall, that time on that tank fight when he fought Karen the first time, and they was at that table and they had a little build up, he wound up losing to Villa. But I had him winning on a scorecard. Villa just came on late. He knocked him down 2-3 times. He was able to edge that.
Yeah.
Right. So he's supposedly damaged goods and all this, but he been making his rounds and he been doing this thing. But they want this guy who says that he's fighting at 47. They want him to go up to 54. And he's saying that, okay, well, I don't know about no 500K. They said it would be outrageous. I know TBV was saying this. It'd be outrageous for if Speedy wanted anything close to $1 million, or he need to be ashamed of himself because that's his highest payday. If he don't take that, I'm just like.
But he got more than that in the fight he lost to Villa.
Did he?
I believe so, bro. I believe he got at least 5 or maybe 6 for that.
See,
somewhere between 5 and what's the name? But I'll check it out while you talk, and I'll correct myself.
But see, I ain't get into it because I am with the numbers. I don't, saying, I don't really. I would like to know, but I ain't gonna look it up. But the thing is, this is what I'm saying. I don't think it's unreasonable to ask, because look at how look the way I look at it is just like Blair, and they brought up Blair and how he went up against Adrian Broner, and he's like, he only got 500K for that fight. I'm like, but look at how they did Blair. They didn't let him capitalize off of any of his momentum. So should Blair have gotten paid more, or should he went somewhere else and did something else? Because he didn't even get to capitalize out the momentum that he had. So I don't know what Speedy is thinking. Speedy thinking, well, if they already think I'm damaged goods, or they think I ain't good enough and this and this and this, what would they say if I were to actually lose or get knocked out or get stopped? I know he ain't thinking about that as a fighter, but I'm like, man, if he want him to grease the wheel, it seemed like this. This is the bottom line. If you look anything like me or you or Brian Norman or Conwell or Speedy Rashidi, if you look anything like any of that, we getting lowballed.
Yep.
But if you look like Imanta Stanionis, if you looking like Karen Kukadajian, Chukasian, you probably gonna get what you want. Hey, matter of fact, I'm gonna take some out of my check and I'm gonna give it to you, since you that worthy. That's how it's looking to me.
Yeah.
So they can miss me, all these people that be out here crying, trying to say, oh man, y'all just want to make him look. It's like we can't make him do. We can only use what is being put in front of us. But this is the irony right here. This thumbnail right here is to me, this is the irony. These guys are in the same camp. This guy's an Olympian, a gold medal Olympian. He came out, he went the uncomfortable route, went over there to the dungeon, got with Bowles. He changed up his style. He's converting to a more pro style with his boxing abilities. They both signed in Matchroom. And this man, everybody, Keyshawn avoided him, even though they're drawing right now, it's a whole narrative that Richardson Hitchens owes Gary Antoine Russell for something that happened in their amateurs. Keyshawn didn't owe him nothing, and he actually meddled. They both meddled, and it ain't no score to settle. And then game 7 from one of the biggest probably trilogies that's going to happen between Devin and Ryan was a game 7 for something that they did in the amateurs, and neither one of them went to the Olympics. So amateurs didn't matter, didn't mean nothing with that. Gary Antoine even came out and said something about the history that him and Boots had in the amateurs, trying to draw that line, saying once he clear out 40, he'll go up there to he'll entertain welterweight or 52 or whatever Boots is at that time, so they can do what they call unfinished business. Yet Raymond Danger Morataya, who now got a strap, who's established at 35, could turn down $2 million to fight Andy Cruz. But Speedy Rashidi Ellis, he doesn't have the right to turn down 5 to fight the young phenom from Philly, the second coming of Roy Jones,
Mr. Roy Jones,
Jaron Boots Ennis.
Make that make sense. They call this man the second coming of Roy Jones, and you want to make Roy Jones look great, so you want Roy Jones to fight some of the toughest competition out there. Roy Jones fought a Calzaghe. Roy Jones fought a James Toney. You feel what I'm saying? Roy Jones knocked a man from one side of the ring completely to the other side of the ring. I haven't seen that level of competition yet from Boots, and I haven't seen that type of power yet from Boots.
I haven't seen that type of confidence from Boots.
That right there. So it's like, okay, I don't want to hear this Roy Jones shit no more. I don't want to hear it from none of the fans out there that are heavy Boots fans, because then I'll start to ask you, all right, if you want to say he's the whatever, who's his this? Who's his that? He's got 30-something fights in. And I'll go to BoxRec and I'll pick up, I'll pull up Roy Jones BoxRec and count off the guys he got to where we are right now. Boots got X amount of fights. Let's look at who Roy was fighting at this time.
That's a good exercise.
So it's like, okay, so if this is what you're gonna tell me, this is what the numbers say. This is what the level of competition says. So listen, you can miss me with all of that, because he's nowhere close to that.
And I'm gonna tell you like this: the same thing we crucified Shakur for, and now you gotta think Shakur was at 126. He went to 130. Now he at 135. But in his transition from 130 to 135, he lost his belt on the scales. We cooked Shakur because we said, you know what? That was your leverage. Like, you had, man, with that belt, if you still had that strap, it would have been the same. All you had to do was make that weight. And then you could have forced your hand, right? You could have used your leverage. You could have forced his hand. But we cooked him because he lost it on the scales and he lost his leverage. So then he was in no man's land, at the mercy of somebody giving him a chance, or him getting ranked and then them sectioning, or however he maneuvered to get it, or them willing to pay whoever to give him, however that was going to work. We cooked him. We just said the same thing with Keyshawn Davis, where he lost that belt and he's going to transition to 40. And now, just because he might be a tough out, now he don't got no belt. now he might be on the outside looking in. Now time will tell what's gonna happen when he bounce back and go. But we said we had our words. I ain't gonna say I cooked them, but I went in, had my words, let it go. Boots had the IBF, the WBA, lineal. He's lineal champ with the ring belt. He drops one of them, that WBA. He dropped the WBA. He don't go fight Bakram or get into nothing and use the leverage that he actually had. And then people say, I don't know why. It's like no matter what angle you look at it, the fact that he re-signed with Eddie is like, yeah, you had the money and like, yeah, but he didn't make you like a star. Listen, Eddie didn't even do for Boots what Eddie did for Devin. Because in all honesty, Eddie built Devin. Eddie was the one when he was going on that run. He was the one that got Devin to have all the cachet and moved him the way he moved him before Devin and them bit him in the tail.
I was a little upset when Devin signed to Eddie, but then being the type of fan I was for Devin back then, but then I was like, hey, this may not be a bad move because look at how they got this dude moving.
How they had him looking, how they had him moving. And Eddie did that, and then Devin and them bit him in the tail. You know what I'm saying? But he hasn't even done that. He hasn't even done that with Boots yet. Like, he got him in an unconventional way. He got him to stand honest. He got him two Karens, an Avanesian. No, one Karen, an Avanesian, a stand honest. And now we got all these, but in every angle that you look at it, it's like, I don't even know how fans are actually sitting up here trying to make an argument or trying to make this into something ugly where all these other black fighters get bashed and get sunk down and get trashed because of, let's just put it like this, because of decisions that Boots made. We can point the finger at Eddie, you know what I'm saying? Or, and now now the same people that love Turkey, they trying to hate on Turkey, trying to say that he is the one that set up the media slander on Boots. And I'm like, all the man said was like, if you want big fight, holler at me. You want to do tune-ups, go with Eddie. And then we hear offers with Eddie. What does that mean? That's deductive reasoning. Or do I have the reverse of cognitive?
Nah, it's exactly what it is.
It's funny to me, man. I'm like, that's why, and all these cats like YSM, when they get on there, all them cats from over there, man, they just irk my nerves. And they continue to talk, and they gonna come out there like, yeah, man, what's going on? Well, we all know, man, Boots is not scared of no Brian Norton. Okay, man, you at 54. But I'm telling you, man, he was never scared of no Brian Norton. It's like, okay, but you at 54, bro. What's going on? Oh, well, we just gotta, we gotta figure out, what I'm saying, what temperature the water is, because the thermostat, was stuck, what I'm saying? We like it to be, no, we ain't talking about the gym, brother. We talking about who you getting ready to fight at 54. Well, we kicked the tires with Tez and but he with PBC, you know how we roll. We over here with Eddie, and we was thinking about Machine Gun Kelly. Brother, who are you about to fight, brother? I don't know, man. Speedy Rashidi Dawkins, son. Like, what? Like, that's what we get right there. So why they complaining? Why they complaining about people telling the truth on Boots? This is about to be a mad slander campaign on another black fighter in Speedy Rashidi Ellis because he refuses to take a lowball offer. Mark my words in real time. Meanwhile, Raymond Danger Morataya can turn down a title defense against Andy Cruz for $2 million big ones.
And we get crickets. Crickets. Now, here's the crazy part. While you was talking, guess what I was doing?
Research.
All day, bro. His 34th fight, Roy Jones. It happened when he moved up to 75. And he already had one belt. His 34th fight was the interim world light heavyweight for the WBC. He had the IBF super middleweight belt, was his first belt, and he defended that belt a lot. You feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Then he goes up and he gets he takes his first loss in his 35th fight. That was the infamous BS DQ that he got from Montel Griffin. They came back and just splattered Montel Griffin in the next fight. That's that one side of the ring to the other side of the ring punch. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right after that, he goes and knocks out Virgil Hill. So we're not getting these type of, if I read off, let's say from his 34th fight, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Predict his next 5 fights of Boots Ennis. So on Roy Jones' side, it would be a Otis Grant, a Lou DeVell, a Virgil Hill, and then the 2 joints he had with Montel Griffin.
Okay.
You feel what I'm saying? So if you want to try to tell me something like that, I'm going to remember those names and say, all right, as far as what we talking about, levels of competition, what has this dude done? Because pretty much after that, when he finally settles into 175, he just goes on strap season. He collected every belt that was there. He had the WBC, he had the WBF. Remember this, people. He had the WBF, which I think is now the WBA. He had the WBC. He had the IBO, the IBF, and the IBA.
Wow.
And he defended all of them joints at least three times.
That's amazing, man. So I think that it's honest to say, man, like y'all need to stop this, like, because for one, it's almost like a challenge. Whenever I hear somebody crying and they be saying, man, I don't know why they always act like, I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, all right, challenge. I'm about to see if we really got something to cry about.
Yeah.
You remember how your mom used to say, hey, you want something to cry about? Oh, I'm gonna give you something to cry about. Like, this is like, to be honest, like for the goals, let's be honest, and I'm gonna stop being facetious. For the goals that Boots have set and the level of talent that he has and at the stage that he's in, if he is who he say he is, there's no reason why part 2 of his killing spree should not commence. Why didn't he use the leverage he had with the IBF to get background and beat shit down his leg? Why wouldn't he use his leverage with the WBA and at least get with the sanction by, like, listen, this is what I'm trying to do. Like, this is what I got going on. Like, not just pop up there when you want to and then try to claim somebody ducking you. Because listen, this is the other thing. You had ties with Brian Norman Jr. Y'all tried to make him look bad. He got right into a fight like ASAP with Devin Haney.
Yep. And you were offered Devin Haney too.
And yeah, then you had something with Devin going on, and supposedly it was like you wanted to get him at 152 or something like that. You know,
11 million. 11 million he was offered to fight Devin Haney.
That's crazy. That's 11 big ones, 11 smackaroonies to smack Dev. Man. Like, man. But okay, so you say Virgil say nah, he don't want to do it, but the rumor mill is saying that Virgil is in negotiations with Keith Thurman. And people trying to take up on that fight. I'm like, you can't do that. No, because I remember one time when Keith Thurman was trying to act like he didn't know who Boots was. I remember that, and I roasted the crap out of Keith for that. For you, Boots. So that same energy I got right now, I roasted Keith for you, Boots. But you can't turn around and say now because Virgil want to go ahead and try to put Keith Thurman out of his misery at this point in time that he ducking you. It's like it don't work like that, because if the level of competition that you fighting hit, like this is a news flash. Keith Thurman got more cachet than Jaron Boots Ennis. Don't stone me, but it's the truth. Even at this stage, Keith Thurman has more cachet than Jaron Boots Ennis at this point. You know what I'm saying? They trying to put him out. They trying to put Keith out of his misery. It's just like everybody was trying to put AB out of his misery. Blair the Fair in his unconventional way was the first one to get it. But all of the young guys, Devin, Boots, Connor Ben, everybody wanted AB. Blair got it. Blair got there. So if Virgil can go in there and do something to Keith Thurman, if he can go in there and stop Keith Thurman, something that is highly unlikely, but it's possible. If he can do that, he gonna go through the roof. His cachet gonna go through the roof, just like Brian Norman. That stuff, that crap, y'all gonna learn to stop doing this to people, because it's starting to backfire on y'all. Because y'all looking like we playing musical chairs, and the music stopped, and you don't got a chair. You just standing up.
Yeah,
everybody else got a chair.
Boxing is a game, and it's a game to be played. You gotta find the most entertaining thing. I was thinking about this earlier, like. Smart ass move by Virgil, because you're gonna keep forcing Boots to fight dangerous competition or fights that he actually can lose, or he fights BS competition and doesn't get any better. So if you do decide to make the fight with him, either he's gonna be damaged, or he's not gonna have that skill set of, steel sharpening steel type of thing.
Yep.
So by him cutting or trying to cut off the path for Boots by going after Thurman ASAP and leaving a Conwell and a Rashidi out there, or you fight these two bum dudes. Those are 50-50 fights. These two dudes, they tailor-made for you. So what are you gonna do? So I think as I was thinking about it more and more, I was like, oh, Virgil just played him. And then you look at the dynamic of the offers being sent. Yeah, he don't want none of those fights. That's like that Sean Porter jump off about Dev. That was forced to happen. He never wanted that fight. That's where Boots is right now.
Yeah, it's like the dime that wants you to go to Pound Town. She only wanna be at the she only wanna stay at the Hilton. You can't, you know what I'm saying? You can't get that caliber. That's like, if you want to put this premium that they putting on the Sheik, it's like you want to go to Pound Town with the dime, or you know what I'm saying, you're gonna go down here and rub elbows with the nickels.
For real.
Down at the Mosey Wozy, you know what I'm saying?
For
the
real. For real. You don't get the young tight cheeks. You gotta go down there with all the cougars, the has-beens that been around the blocks a couple of times. For real. So the Geritol chicks. So at the end of the day, it's
the bullet wounds and stab.
So it's like, yo,
the one with the crazy keloid on the.
For real, it's like, yo, that's Kenko Karen, bro. You better get on that. For real. So all I'm saying is like this: they forcing that. This is what we was talking about. When early on we were saying, I don't know if 54 is a good idea for Boots, because everything is locked in. There's already the big players up there. You can come up there and just let your name try to disrupt things, but you didn't come in there and maximize your leverage.
Right.
So now you on the outs trying to figure out what fight you get to take that gets you back in. And the way those dudes is doing, they can keep you out of the mix for indefinitely, because all they got to do is not unify.
Yeah,
where do you go?
And they putting the pressure on Eddie because at this point we've seen it with Devin, we've seen it with Wilder. Now he's doing it with Boots, to where these offers he's giving, they're so low that people like you. So if you're gonna do a video about Speedy, you got to do a video about Conwell, a video about Machine Gun Kelly. You know, you got to do a video about all of these guys that's saying no, because this excuse that Eddie using, it's like, listen, man, I signed up with you for you to make it happen, man. I mean, I don't want to hear no excuses, because you can't have it both ways. Because it's not your first rodeo. Like, he lost the purse bid. You know, he did some clever stuff in slandering the Normans or whatever. That's why I give Seer carte blanche in this slander, because y'all did it. It's a dirty game, and y'all did it. So that's payback, to where every time he get on the mic, he gonna say that. That's why I don't care. He could do it every time, because that was underhanded what Eddie did. But at the same time, this Eddie keeps doing this same routine over and over again, where at some point it's not going to be no excuse, especially when you got affiliations with the Turk and you don't want that. That's the having it both ways. Because if you wanted that, you could get it, because Turk going to finance it. Turk rock with you, just like because listen, the writing is on the wall when he told Hitchens, hey, nah, I'm not dealing with you unless you get with Eddie. Right, so he said, I'm not dealing with you. I'm not putting up no bread unless you get with Eddie. Well, Boots is with Eddie. He just told him, if you want big fights, you know what I'm saying, holla at me. You want tune-ups, stay over there. But them tune-ups that Eddie ain't paying for, he gonna run you down.
Yeah, and that's the sad part about it, because Eddie's like, I'm not paying for a tune-up. Why would you tell that man you need 2 tune-ups? Because I'm not paying for no tune-up fight for you, Jaron. A talent like you seriously gonna tell me you need a tune-up?
And they be saying that people need PR. It's like, you got all these people that got all these YouTubes and all this stuff, and they know all this about business, but y'all don't think that this is a PR nightmare, some of the takes and some of the things that's actually being out here. And they're not lies. I can see it, they're fabricated, but they're not lies. They're the truth. So it's like, you need PR just as bad as Shakur need PR. The crazy thing is, y'all, they all over there in Matchroom, in which it's almost crazy to me that I keep saying, this is why I say the stuff I do over here gonna age like fine wine, because I said the elephant in the Matchroom. The elephant in the Matchroom is why Shakur and Keyshawn not dancing, and Boots and Conor Ben not dancing. If you want to do in-house and make it all make sense and have money and do all of these things, all of those things can happen. Why? Because New Jersey is right there next to Philly. You got Andy Cruz in the dungeon, and Conor Ben is looking to make a name over here in the States with a marquee fight. Or y'all could do that over there where he's at, and that'll be huge.
Yep.
But the stuff that I be saying is too far-fetched, when it's like, it sounds like too much like right. But he got you out here and all your business floating around with conversations and another lowball offer, to where we getting ready to change your name from Boots to Lowball.
For real.
But that's it, man. That's what I wanted to point out. I wanted to point this out. They are stepbrothers, but the narratives around these two couldn't be further. It looked like Andy Cruz is the guy that people be saying, oh man, I don't know if he can punch and all this, but they starting to stay away from him. They starting to maneuver around and not wanting to fight him, and that's an indictment when you pass up $2 million instead of getting in the ring to defend your strap against Andy Cruz.
Who's what? What he got? 6 professional fights, maybe 7?
Yep, 6.
So you turned down $2 million to fight a guy that has 6 professional, who's just starting to learn how to fight like a professional.
Yep, just developing that pro style.
Like, what the?
And he has a question, and people question everything they question. The main thing they question is whether or not he got a chin. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he got one, but you know what I'm saying? That's like that look like okay, you got a puncher's chance. Like if you can get to that chin a couple times, you know what I'm saying? Like you got a shot. Like he's not, and more than likely, you're not getting knocked out. You might get the boxer's TKO. I mean, what you say, the boxer's knockout, which is the TKO.
Yeah.
You know, the referee might call in, might run in and console you. You know, but you're not getting flatlined.
Exactly.
So I just wanted to point this out, man, because Raymond Danger, he ain't losing no sleep. They ain't, but they got us on here getting slandered. Speedy Rashidi, Charles Conwell, they're just the two latest victims in the slander campaign because
and
they refuse to take low ball offers like the Normans.
But it's crazy because you out here calling out, you know, tougher competition in calling out Shakur and some of the other people that you did call out. I did hear more Tyler, I think, mention Keyshawn at one point. So I'm like, why would you not take the $2 million to fight Andy Cruz? Like that right there was career suicide because Andy Cruz just came off of a very solid performance. You feel what I'm saying? There was still the Keyshawn thing, and that still lingers, which, you know, the more Keyshawn avoids him, the more it puts Andy Cruz on a pedestal. So, more Tyler, if you was ever trying to get a Keyshawn fight, why don't you beat the guy that beat Keyshawn for $2 million? So when you look at these type of dynamics, it's like, how are they moving you? How did this become a thing that actually got out to the public? When you had the opportunity to beat the guy who was looking to inherit that division as long as he made the weight. So, come on, man. I can't make this. I'm struggling to find comprehensive words to help my brain deal with this because it's a real cognitive dissident type of situation. My moral dissidence is fucked up right now, and just, you know, I'm just like, how do I come to grips with this? I'm a fan of Maura Tyler. I liked your energy. I liked everything that you was bringing to the table. I was like, yo, Maura Tyler out here calling out Shakur. That's what's up, bro. You got that knockout, and it's like, boom, you ready to, bring it on, boy.
Yeah, it's you should see my thing is this. And this is why I know people just be crying, and this is why people just be playing politics when they come around Boots. You're trying to convince me that a time where, like you said, he had the dime piece on the bed, and she just said, "I just want you to pound me, daddy." You know what I'm saying? You had B. Norman, right, agreeing to the fact that, okay, I'm gonna have this shot again, and then you can fight me. That's 3 of the stones.
Yep.
And you just seen what Mario Barrios did. Like, Mario Barrios had 2 questionable performances back to back. He had the Ramos fight, and then he had where I think he lost that one, in my opinion. And then he had the long layoff, and now he came back, and people arguably say Pacquiao won that. And that would have been the last stone. You trying to tell me that these options and how you looking and all this out of the blue, you doing that because they trying to say, man, you make me sick thinking that you trying to duck Brian Norman. Well, it looked kind of crazy, man. Like, if you can't level with me and say that don't just look crazy, the timing in which you announced doing that, and you didn't even have nothing. You had a chick wanting you to go to Pound Town.
Yep.
To go up in the hood where you don't even, you know what I'm saying, you not from there, like to go in the uncharted territory, you ain't got You ain't got no condoms on you. You know what I'm saying? So even if you fall off into something, you might fall off into something.
Exactly.
But no answers. Like you didn't have nothing on the docket. You don't got no name. You had no date, no reservation, no nothing. You just like, man, I'm gonna drive to Delaware. I'm just gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like on some young boy, like I'm grab and go. I'm going in there. I'm you know what I'm saying? I'm like, no, man, no. You didn't have no plan. You didn't have no plan. It's looking real wild when you take everything in consideration. Not only the timing in which you moved up, but when you look at everybody who supposedly ducked you or avoided you, the move that they actually making compared to how Eddie got you looking, and the fact that you re-signed, and it's still a cycle of the same low ball offers, you're looking funny in the light, bro.
Man, you looking horrible in the light. You should have kept the lights off or bought a blue light bulb, because once you put that fluorescent low energy light on, boy, it exposed a lot, and it didn't take that much. All it took was just one guy to say, "Yeah, I'll fight you. Just let me deal with this guy." And as soon as I deal with this guy, 12:01 midnight after the fight over, we could talk. Then you just get out of Dodge
with no plan.
Like he said, when you hear the beating on the storm is coming, you grab your boots and you run. Classic, bro.
You can't get ready to fight Devin.
And he getting ready to fight Devin, and they offered you a bag to fight Devin, just to beat up on Devin, who ain't been doing nothing. So Devin about to go in there and think he's gonna be super boxer and clearly outbox Brian Norman Jr. You feel what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, everybody got a game plan until they get smacked in the face with a brick. And that dude keep it a beam. I got bricks in these hands, man. Everything I touch, I break.
I seen him hitting the pads the other day, man. I said, ooh.
Bro, he the type of dude that it looked like for regular dudes like me and you, we got to put on pads to put on the pads. Because he just hit it once, like, you see dudes who play baseball, and the pitcher and they the back catcher and the pitcher just, and you hear the ball hissing in the air and it's whack. You like, oh my, and you don't see the dude just take his hand out the glove and be like, God. But you see dudes when you playing first base and you just don't catch with them, they just throw the ball and be like, pop. You be like, oh my God, bro, how do y'all play this game? Yo, that shit just burnt the shit out of my hand. So it's like, yeah, bro, you don't want to get smacked by that dude. So you can think you going in there and boxing, but man, once that boy put that first punch on you, that weird look of fear is gonna be in your face every time he takes a step. The wide-eyed look, like, is he about to punch now? Is he about to punch now? When is he about to punch? And that's gonna be the thing that, as a Devin Haney fan, it's literally gonna break my heart watching that fight. I'm gonna be like, as soon as the bell rings, throw in the towel. You feel what I'm saying? From round one, I'll be yelling, throw in the towel while Dev is walking in the ring. Like, man, I respect you for taking it, but damn, bro, this is not what you should have did. This is a bad move. This is not gonna end the way y'all think it ends. And if it does, I don't even know what to say, man. I'm gonna look outside. I'm gonna turn on the TV. I'm gonna turn to NASA, and any meteors coming to blow the planet up, any volcanoes about to erupt, because something ain't right in the universe right now. I don't know how this thing happened.
I just hope he don't turn into Devin Copperfield, man, and mysteriously That's why I ain't trying to, I got my fingers crossed. I hope that fight go through, man. I hope they try not to jinx it. I got positive vibe that we're gonna make it across the finish line. But like I said, this is just 20% of what's going on with boxing. This the part that we don't really like. Otherwise, I mean, I never got your opinion on the did you see the Kenny Sims fight with did you see Kenny Sims and Duarte? Or just you didn't see
I
it?
think I wanted to watch it. I pulled it up on the tab because I've been doing so much research between everything. Man, if you look at my computer, you'd be like, bro, how do you have like 100 tabs open? You feel what I'm saying? And it's somewhere in the mix. But I seen the outcome of it where what was it? He lost that fight, or was it somebody else?
The
upset.
But the thing is, it's like I think that was a matter of preference. I think it was a matter of preference, and I had a feeling that they were going to do that to Kenny Sims, especially if he didn't like sell out, if he didn't like take like some risks. But I mean, you can argue. Some people could argue Kenny Sims won, and I can see why some people would say Duarte. But see, the way the commentators were calling the fight, they keep it's something like I said it's like I think it's been going on for 2 years now, where they're defaulting to the aggressor. Like if you're an aggressor and you have a fan base that could carry that, like the only time that didn't really count was like with the Devin and the Jose Ramirez, or the Williams School and the Canelo, because in both fights the A side won. Yeah. But they are preferring the aggressor, even if it's not effective aggression. So Duarte was doing a lot of like Kenny Sims boxed now. If you go back and look at it, he was actually boxing and he was actually catching Duarte with some stuff, but Duarte was way more active, so he threw a whole lot of points, but he was not accurate, like hardly accurate at all. He just had the more impactful punches. And I knew in the 12th round when he didn't pull it out, and the fact that they had it Oscar Duarte versus Kenny Sims, and it was a Golden Boy, so I already knew Oscar had it in the cards for Duarte to win. But it was a close fight. Like I mean, I could have seen how I thought Kenny Sims won. Like I thought he won barely, but I could see why they gave it to Duarte, because he did close stronger. He had the more impactful blows, but it wasn't effective aggression, and he wasn't that accurate. He just had the more impactful blows. But the thing is,
go ahead. My bad.
But the point is this: the same way they commented that fight, they was commenting on the fight before with Regis and Jojo Diaz. Now, I kept telling my lady, I said, man, I said, Jojo Diaz is surprising me with how he catching Regis, right? And how he kept like days in Regis.
Yeah, that was a good fight. I did see that one.
But I'm like, I kept telling my lady, I said, man, you can't give Jojo the whole round. I said, because Regis, he was hitting them all throughout the round. It was like 5 to 6 against like 2 or 3, and Jojo kept doing it in spurts. It's just that when he would catch up to Regis, he would have a hellified impact. I said, I don't know what fight they watching, and because if you listen to Mannix and Sergey Moore, they was saying this, they was calling the fight the same exact way with the Duarte, and I said, I don't know how they got this. I said, I'm thinking they leaning toward Duarte, but that score was wide on the Regis one. It was wide. They had that score kind of wide on the Regis one. I was like, that's what I was telling my lady. I said, see, babe, that's why you can't listen to these people when they be announcing the fights, because depending on who they want to win, they do the same thing. Just like when Top Rank do it, who they want to win by how they calling the fight.
Yeah, definitely. And you kind of know who, when you look at as the fighters coming into the ring, they'll keep bringing up the guy they want to win, like his past fights or a couple of past performances or whatever. But the Duarte fight, I figured it was going to be a tough, close fight because to me, Duarte's always been a dog. You feel what I'm saying? He's just got that. You got to knock me out to beat me type of fighting style and mentality. So again, the thing, knowing the boxer that Kenny Sim was when I saw the upset part of it, I was like, I wasn't mad. I was like, I'll get around to watch it, but I kind of expected it. But if we would have had the opportunity to cook on it, I'd have probably told you I'm probably leaning towards Duarte to win that fight. Kenny Sims is nice, but I think he just fights off the back foot a little too much, and you kind of want to see people move forward, and stuff like that. He does move forward, but in my opinion, in some of the big fights, he kind of, just for me, he fought on the back foot too much. It's like, get on him, close it out, finish it up. And with Duarte, it just I just kind of figured that maybe he might be even more timid. And I was just like, that's why I asked the question a long time ago to Shakur fans. I was like, if Shakur fights on the back foot, do you think he wins that fight against Mortala? Because looking at the way the judges score, yes, they are leaning more towards the aggressor. And if you're an effective aggressor in a close fight, you always going to win that fight. It's just the way this era is right now. Unless it's just, I don't know, straight robbery or, the business of boxing, like the Manny Pacquiao and Barrios type situation. I thought Pacquiao won too, but they called it a draw. And I was like, that is some bullshit.
Well, let me tell you this. I think that I think the only thing really wrong with Kenneth is because he got off. Like he stunned Duarte too. It's just like with the Russells be saying, like mainly Mr. Gary Russell, he don't got no FU on his punches. Like if he had a little more FU, if he had a little bit more FU in his punches, yeah, he probably could have knocked Duarte out. Because when he stepped to him and he did decide to step to him, like it was clear, like it was like, if he had some power, man, Duarte would have been in trouble. He just ain't got no FU in his punches.
Wow, so now you're making me really want to go and check the fight, because if I had saw the fight and gave my honest opinion based on what you said, I probably would have said things like, he really impressed me.
I was kind of impressed. I think the 11th and then the 12th, like I don't like the fact that he didn't sell out. Like you gotta sell. Like you gotta know, man, that it's like if you make it questionable, what they saying, they talking like that, even if it's close, they gonna give it to him because they looking at him like he brings the fight, even though you're showing more skill, you're being more evasive, you're making him whiff and stuff like that. It's just you ain't got no FU. You're being more of a technical. It's like they don't appreciate that. They want the stock. They want the people they want the guy, or they're cheering on for the guy that's creating the action. Like, and I'm like, by default, it's like, I can see why you like the guy creating the action. But if he's just coming forward and he every now and again he getting his off and he really, but other than that he ain't doing nothing. You can't. This is 4 scoring criteria.
Yeah,
you can't
exactly.
Run around off of that, in my opinion. I just think that Kenny in the 11th and 12th, like in the 11th he did okay, but in the 12th I wanted to see more from him to make the statement. It's almost like it's not like Rashidi, the Rashidi got dropped, but it's like he didn't do nothing in the 12th to kind of show like I'm here and I'm really like I'm put like
hold the book out, and you got a name like Duarte in front of you. That's what you're supposed to do.
And you got a name like Duarte Duarte looked like he been working out. I'm gonna put it like that.
Okay.
He looked like he been working out heavy.
But the Regis fight, the Regis and what's the name? Jojo Diaz fight. I really enjoyed that fight. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Uh,
that might be a classic. That might be a classic to go
yeah,
back.
because they was scrapping. It was like, Regis will catch JoJo and bust him open, and then JoJo would just come back, boom, boom, with a nice little 3-piece combo that would rock Regis. And then, Regis will come right back like, okay, I'm a little wobble, but hold this. Boom, you rushing in, young boy. So I was like, yo, these dudes is scrapping, and JoJo Diaz looked different. Like, you look like you've been fighting in MMA or bare knuckle or some shit like that. Like, bruh, like with the beard and that,
Yeah,
like I was like, wow, this nigga
Yeah.
look crazy right now, intimidating like a motherfucker. But I'm gonna tell you this: that performance, I think, earns JoJo Diaz and Regis. People want to see more of you guys. If you guys can keep delivering on fights like that, don't give a fuck about how many losses you got. It's the entertainment factor, because dudes with 0 losses fights be boring as fuck compared to what you guys did. Because sometimes when you got dudes who got losses or multiple losses, they know they ain't got nothing to lose but go in there and just put on a show. You want to punch me, I'm gonna punch you right the fuck back.
yeah. Like
So-
Gabe Rosado, he got in there and did his thing. He sparked Buddy real quick.
Yeah.
He
So
got in there.
go
But
ahead.
I'm gonna say this about Regis, man. I think, and it's gonna sound weird. I think JoJo got more of an upside because he shouldn't be at that weight class. He can go down as long as he stay active. But Regis, Regis can't at this age, man. Regis can't be getting hit like that, man.
Yeah.
Cause I want him to be able to, like, Regis is a good guy. He been writing books. He into his real estate. I want him to be functional, but he cannot go in there getting hit like that no more, man.
Yeah,
That
bro.
was surprising to me. I'm like, dang,
He
Regis,
was
what the
getting
hell?
knocked stupid, bro. That he had the stinky leg. Like, I was like, bruh.
He was getting hit with that lead uppercut and the hook. He was getting hooked and uppercutted. Like JoJo was sneaking that little uppercut. That's one of my
Yeah.
favorite shots. Like that little sneaky uppercut, then the hook, man. I said, golly, Regis, what the hell? But it was a good fight, instant classic. You can go back and watch that and be high. It has playback value. You know what I'm saying? You
All
ain't gonna
day,
be-
all day.
My
And-
lady stayed up for that. Look, my lady stayed up for that one.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you like this, man. Yo, this JoJo Diaz right here, I like JoJo Diaz back, back then. Even when I believe he fought Dev.
Yeah, he did.
I like JoJo Diaz. I thought that was going to be a really, really tough fight for Devin and stuff like that. But I've always had like a fan soft spot for JoJo Diaz. He was like my people's champ. I like this little dude. He the type of little dude, you know what I'm saying? The type of dude that I just want to hang out with. Let's go ride around and just talk shit and just, you feel what I'm saying? Hang out. So, he was always that type of dude for me. And, he impressed me in this fight, because this fight looked better than his performance that he had on Pro Box. So I'm happy to see him back. I'd like to see him again. You feel what I'm saying? I don't know against two at 140, but I definitely want to see him again.
Yeah, he Oscar looked at him and said, "Listen, I got you. Like, he gonna take care. Oscar, he gonna take care of JoJo, but he earned a couple more paydays. And Regis, he won, but I just want Regis. If I don't know, man, I don't know if it's a sign of things to come, but I don't want him to start going into Roy Jones mode, because at one point in time it's like, man, I'm not watching it. I'm not gonna watch it, man. Because if you dealing with somebody that had a little more pop, that was a little more active than JoJo, then he would have got put to sleep with some of them things.
Let me ask you this question: do you think JoJo could make a belt run?
One of them, he. I mean, not at 40. I don't know about at 40, but at 35. At 35, yeah. If because that wasn't his weight class. So if he slim
Yeah, he
down,
looked mad big though. That's what I was saying.
he wasn't supposed to be there. But if he stay active, he go right back in the gym. He don't. If he really stopped the drinking and all the other stuff he was doing,
Yeah.
if he cut that stuff out and he's back in the gym active, at 35 he could make a run for one of them. He'll give. I think I put it like this. I don't think that I don't think a kid Austin or one of them guys are going there and just smoke his boots right away. It'll take a couple rounds. He ain't gonna get Tevin Farmer in there, I don't think. At 35, but at 40, I just think man. Like, I don't think at 40 they got like a Sabril wearing on you like that, like a Sabril or Gary Antoine.
Wayo, Gary Antoine.
Hitchens is just superior boxer. He's just gonna box your head off.
Yeah,
I just think
it ain't even gonna look good if he tried to go after Hitchens' belt. It's like you're making the wrong move, bro. Leave that man alone. But at 35, yeah, I could see him. I can see him making a run. Just at his age and the way his body looked in that last fight, I do not know if he can make 35. And if we got
Mr. Gary Russell at 35 now. That's
that problem.
He looked real good. Like,
he
looked good. Like, man,
I was like, whoa, look at Gary, bruh.
He might be a problem. He might be a real problem at 35, man. He always was.
Yeah, bro. I'm like, listen, man.
Huh?
I was like, after certain things happened, I was like, maybe Skull might be the kid that inherit that weight class, but I don't know if they would even want to try to get in the ring with a Gary Russell. I don't know if any of those top guys at 35 would want to get in the ring with Gary Russell, because I think he has a whole new different understanding of boxing right now. You feel what I'm saying? To whereas, you had what's old boy that was at 54? He had one win off of Mel Charlo, and then he got knocked out in the second fight.
Castaño?
No.
Tony Harrison?
Yeah, Tony Harrison. Tony, when I look at Tony Harrison, overall, I was like, okay, even though it's a female boxer, you really affiliated with training, but I think once a fighter starts to train, they kind of take on a different understanding of the game. You feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. For Gary Russell, the way he fought in his last fight, you could tell that his understanding of the game, and now that if he gets back in and gets another quick fight, he won't be critiquing his own performance while he's in the ring at real time. You get what I'm saying? Or does it sound a little weird?
No, I get it.
So basically what I'm saying is that there were points in the fight that he did some good work, and then it wasn't like I'm watching my work. It's like he started thinking. You feel what I'm saying? And that slight pause allowed old boy to come back, and then you see him react and do some other good work, and then he'll follow through with it. And you can kind of like see, for me watching him, it was like him talking to himself while he was in that fight. So it's like, hopefully now that you got your feet wet, I get it. Probably that was because of the layoff and stuff like that. And, maybe into his next fight, you'll start to really just see more of the good work that he was doing, instead of like some of the moments where he did good work and then it looked like he was thinking, critiquing himself, and talking to himself while he's looking at the dude, like being a trainer and a fighter all in the same person.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, I'm more like I was super impressed with what I saw from him, and I just hope, I'm just hoping that we hear pretty soon another fight that he'll have before the end of the year.
Yeah, he's saying he want Roach. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but Roach don't want none. Roach don't want him. But you know, that's you gotta wait and see what's going on with Tank. But I like Gary being in the mix, man. With any of them guys, anybody, man. Like, 'cause that's all I used to say, man. I didn't know, like in their heyday, I really didn't know who would win between Tank and Gary, man. I didn't know. I said, man, that's for me. Being out here, them two of my guys, because I used to go hard for. I still do go hard for the Russells, but Gary, he was just inactive. But I don't know, man. I don't know. That's one of the ones where, hey, man, hey, I made the best man win. You know,
I'm gonna keep it a beam with you though. I was always edging Gary to beat Tank.
I can see why. I mean,
I
you
was
know,
like, if anybody was gonna beat Tank, it's gonna be Gary Russell.
I can see why, and only thing they wanted, Tank and them camp wanted was for Gary to at least get in the division. Like, stop waiting around and doing all that talking right around the time when I got to fight. Just get in the division. I'm like, well, Gary finally in the division. You know, we'll see if it happened. But if it happened, man, that's gonna be a crucial fight, man. That's one of the best fights, in my opinion. That's one of the best fights that could be made, man, with an active. If Tank in his right here space and the active Gary, man, that's boxing. That's a dream fight right there. Like, you.
Yeah, now I wouldn't have no issues with Gary Russell saying, "Let me get 2 tune-ups that I'll knock off pretty fast, and sometime next year, me and Tank could get it on." I'd be like, "Ooh,
yeah, I'm with it.
Ooh, I'm with that." I like that.
You know, I'm Team Tank, but I like because I like them both.
I'll
be like, man, we all win with that one.
Yeah.
I'm saying,
it's one of those fights when you break it down, you just like the technical boxer versus the boxer puncher. 2 levels of high IQ. Oh man, that fight! Come on, man. Boxing gods, I'm praying to you right now. Boxing gods. Let that fight happen in sometime in 2026. Praying to you.
Yeah, man, we need to see that.
Yeah,
because it's looking like they saying Tank. They saying Shakur might fight T.O. in January.
Yeah, that's one of those things that I was talking about earlier, where I was like, you know, let me see that, because I thought T.O. was supposed to fight somebody else. That you feel what I'm saying? So
yeah, he I don't know, man.
Between the two of them, they you know, you're getting all of these names being pulled out and stuff like that. So I'm just like, just one of y'all tell me a fight, or how about both of y'all fight each other then? You feel what I'm saying? How about the 2 of y'all fight each other? Shakur versus T.O.
We'll see, man. I'm man, I can't even talk about Shakur no more. He confuses me, man. I just think he into fan manipulation now, man.
Yeah.
And he just be saying stuff, and I'm like, and nobody want to check him, and everybody want to cry. It's the same way, and when you start trying to make sense of what Shakur be saying, it's the same way when you try to make sense of what's going on with Boots, how they be crying. I can't believe you want to do. It's like, listen, this ain't got nothing to do with the skill set. This ain't got nothing to do with, not wanting the young man to succeed. It's just, I don't understand the direction that they're heading in. Like, I don't understand the moves. It don't make no sense.
Yeah.
Like, that's all it really be. But I mean, hopefully Shakur gonna get some work. And hopefully T.O., I stepped back from T.O. a while ago. So I mean, maybe they need each other, but it kind of makes no sense with 140 being galvanized pretty much right now. It's like, all that, everybody's in the right seat right now. It's like, like
everybody in the right seat, but you got one dude that don't know, where he wants to sit at, and it's like, bro, that chair got your name on it. You hold that belt, man. What are you doing? You all over the place and you ain't fighting nobody at 140. Fight one of these dudes at 140. How about you and Hitchens fight? Big fight. Good fight. You feel what I'm saying? Unification. Because you're gonna complain and say, on the low, we know why you gonna duck Sabril, because you're gonna feel he just too big. You feel what I'm saying? So we know why you're gonna duck, try to avoid, you've already tried to do the friend thing with Gary Antoine. So that fight is not happening. So why don't you
And
go
then
over there and
Richardson
fight?
Hitch is probably gonna look worse than Tito was Jermaine Ortiz. I said
Yeah.
Tito. Jermaine Ortiz, because I think Richardson is more skilled. He's more skilled, than Jermaine slightly. He's slightly more skilled, but that's gonna look like a boxing clinic unless you catch Richardson. But I think with a unification, no rehydration and all that, when Richardson get to be his full self, that's a problem for T.O. So T.O., you see the reason why he was gonna go to 47, because if he lost the Boots, nobody was going to expect him really to beat Boots. So it's like he win either way. He get the moral victory, but then at least he was daring to be great. With him being honest, having to be honest at 40, it's a lose for him, because it's different styles. Even though T.O. is skilled enough to be in all of those fights, it's just the best T.O. When the best T.O. show up, he can be in like, it wouldn't be a shocker if he would have win any of them fights, but he's up against it in all of those fights.
So I see for me, my issue with T.O. at 47 is Brian Norman Jr. That's, if you're gonna come up there, you feel what I'm saying, and you're gonna try to use your use your name and everything to get that fight. After Brian Norman beats Devin Haney, you want to go up there and you want to try to take Brian Norman belt and get a bag for it, then we'll see what because I know you gonna want that as the Turk type of thing. So for me, Brian Norman beating Devin Haney, now you moving into you're moving in the category of, I'm gonna kind of surpass Stardom to move into this, how do I say this? Superstar starter kit type thing, because you're gonna have a Devin Haney on your resume, and more than likely a stoppage of Devin Haney, former lineal, two division champion, former undisputed champion. So now you done completely shattered everything that Boots did at 47 in less time. So once you do that, Top Rank has no repercussions but to take that Keyshawn Davis budget, that businessman budget, and give that to you. Okay, you're the type of personality that's in control. You're the type of personality that is people friendly. You feel what I'm saying? The Turk will love you because you're gonna be mad respectful. And if you want to, you know what? He's got enough juice right now that he can go back to Japan and put on a card that features Japanese fighters and have a big fight in Japan that have Mr. Honda and the other big willies want to pay for it. Put Jin on the undercard. So at the end of the day, this kid, he beats Devin Haney, the what if question is, it's now. It's the being on the storm era.
Yeah.
So it's just stuff like that, man. You know, things don't age well for Boots because of what he did. It's not aging well for you, bro. You walking around like spoiled milk with the milk curds in it and all of that. People can smell that bullshit through the bag.
And all his people could say is, man, it don't make sense, man. Why would he wanna? Man, listen, he did this to him. It's like, man, look at the actions, look at the moves. Like it just don't make sense. And they don't got nothing. All they can do is just cry. All they can do is just cry and slander. You know what I'm saying?
And all they gonna do is watch this small, tiny little pocket of fans coming out of Philadelphia. The amount of hate that these Philly fans is going to have for Brian Norman. Be the type of that the first fight Brian Norman, big fight he has in Atlanta, they gonna show up to boo him.
That sound about right, man. I'm telling you, that sound about right, man. They get ready. My top 5 toxic fan bases in boxing. They get ready to kick somebody off, man. They jumping in there, man, because it's like it's just getting weird, man. But yeah, I think we did justice on this one, man.
Yeah, for sure, bro. Good cook, man. Good cook.
I just wanted to put a stake in the ground, man, for the hypocrisy, man, and don't let, like, if we gonna cry about Boots and how y'all think people slander him, then don't please don't get out here and slander Speedy Rashidi or Charles Conwell. So you just gonna make me come out here and do another video, man.
Yeah, it's like that's got to stop. You know, what we're saying about the fighters, we're actually saying what happened in real time. This is not slander. None of this stuff is made up. You know, we can have our opinions on what happens after that. We can draw, you know, our speculations on where, you know, fights might go and stuff like that. But when it comes down to the nit and gritty of calling out this guy's moves, this is what he actually did. This is what his camp actually did. This is what his promoter actually did. This is what his promoter actually said. And this is what the fans actually did, because y'all saw the same thumbnails as well if you follow boxing. At some point, everybody's channel is going to come across your thing if it's a topic, if that's the topic of the day. So with stuff like that being said, man, listen, I'm still a fan of Boots. I just want him to stop with this goofy stuff right now. Bro, you got way too much talent to be doing this goofy stuff. And now you really making me go back to the original time that I was questioning you, or asking myself, you know, is he really that guy that I thought he was? I believe in your talent, but I don't believe that you have that championship quality, that courage yet. If you want to, look at the examples of the guy y'all tried to slander, Brian Norman. That's how a champion moves. That's how a champion talks. And that's where I'll close it out, bro.
I appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you too, man. On to the next one.
All right, bro. Yeah, man. Good cook, man. Good cook, man. We kind of dived into some of the state of boxing and everything. But the main purpose of this, what I'm getting at here with this, the one point I really want to drive home is when I said the point about the nobody cares. See, in our culture, right, we care about who we care about. So for me, if I don't care about you, I'm not going to do no videos about you. Like, if you don't see your face and your image or nothing about you and your name or nothing like that over here at Bodywork Boxing on this channel, If you don't see that, that means I don't give a about you. Like if you never see it, if it never come up now, if you coming up here, that means I care about you. But let's stop with the gaslighting tactics to where they say stuff like, well, we don't hear nobody saying nothing now. The fact that I'm bringing this up right now, because we thought Raymond Danger Morataya was somebody, but the point of this is, how is Speedy Rashidi getting slandered for turning down $500K, but nobody's saying nothing about Raymond Danger Morataya, and he turned down $2 million for Andy Cruz? It's like, we gotta stop that, man. So now we're gonna slander Charles Conwell again. We're gonna slander Charles Conwell and Speedy Rashidi again. And Eddie and Boots made a choice to re-sign with Eddie. And you gotta take responsibility, man. You can't allow them to do this to your career, Boots. You can say, oh man, it's just one fight, he getting acclimated. It's like, yeah, that's what they say now. But wait till everybody else, when the music stopped, and everybody else got a dance partner, and Boots is left without a seat or a dance partner again. And this happens again. I don't know how many times you're gonna let Eddie like do this with you, and we gonna allow Eddie to get away unscathed. But that's all I have for y'all, man. Hopefully you enjoyed yourself over here. This is Fruits and Veggies, Not That Reggie. Hopefully you was able to put something in your rucksack and march on with it. Fruits and Veggies, Not That Reggie. Fact-based content, not opinion-based, even though we have ours. Hopefully everybody have a good evening and have a good weekend, man. I just wanted to get out here, man, and talk a little bit of boxing. Anyways, thanks for choosing Bodywork Boxing. But we don't take things for face value. We do that body work.
He didn't want to box. He wanted to actually prove that he could punch with you. He was like, what the fuck is this nigga, right? Oh, okay, you want to go to sleep. You tired.
Welcome to